The Oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things, have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. That all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Today, the title of today's sermon is Taming the Tongue. When we in part of the oracles, we go over some things in Ecclesiastes, and we're going to go into some of that a little deeper. I don't think we understand, how powerful the words of our mouth really is. When we go back and look at what they used to condemn the Messiah, of course, he knew that he had to be sacrificed. He knew that certain things had to take place. And as they were trying to find false witnesses and find all of these things, ultimately, if you go back to the story, it was his own words that they then said, what have we any further need of witnesses? They used those things, but of course, he knew, what they were trying to do, and he knew that would go ahead and get the process started. What adds more fuel to the fire in this day is people can talk without actually being present. Social media has created a avenue to where people can talk without their mouth being in a particular place. When you consider what is written, that we shall give an account for every idle word that proceeds out of our mouth, you have to then think about that we're able to utter idle words without even being in that place. This is a very, very dangerous situation. I mean, social media has gotten so strong that the so-called most powerful country in the world has had its um, democratic process turned upside down by fake friends and fake social media posts. It has caused one country to decide who is going to lead another country. This is how powerful the words of the mouth is, even when the mouth is not real. Understand that those were posts that were not of real people, yet they influenced an election. It was fake people and fake words. So if fake people and fake words is strong enough to get a person elected that should not have had a snowball's chance in hell, imagine how powerful the words of real people from a real mouth is. So now Facebook is going through all of these things. So now they're saying they're going to work harder to do all of these things because they were making money. They looked the other way and didn't really go over the things that they should have gone over. But we have to deal with the part of what our words may cause and what they may do. I was watching a program and it was talking about all of the just high level of violence in Chicago, and how many of these young people are dying. And the older guys were saying they hate social media. They said, they could tell that a murder was about to happen before it happened. And the older guys were saying, I don't like the social media, but I've had to get on it because these young kids are on it. Now, these are young gang members. They are publicly beefing on the internet. And then one of the young people came to one of the OGs, these older gangsters, and said, such and such about to get killed. He said, how the hell you know that? He said, man, you need to get the internet. He said, man, what are you talking about? Wait. 10 minutes later, car come down the street. He said, I told you. He said, give me the damn app you got again. What is that? Because he said, look, man, if you watch this, you can pretty much tell who finna die. And these are all behind words, and the people are not in front of each other. In our days, if you had to say something, or if you said something, the only people that knew were the people who were standing there. And then somebody else got to take that story to another individual. That take time. Social media, everybody know at the same time. And then other people keep reposting it. So then it makes the one statement sound more aggressive than it originally was. Imagine if somebody says, one time, excuse me, bro. Now, keep putting that on loop and say that over and over. Sound like that person got a serious problem with you, don't it? Well, everybody can just repost that. Now, one person is getting highly upset because it seems like this person, because I don't think people have grasped that none of your texts and posts, none of that goes away. It is always there. So they can turn around and pull those things years back and do them again like you just did it yesterday. So we have two totally different aspects that we have to deal with when we talk about taming the tongue, because now we can deal with the words of our tongue without actually even opening our mouth because of that phone and that computer. Let's begin at Ecclesiastes chapter 5, and let's read verses 1 through 7. No, man. Shabbat shalom, brother.
Shabbat shalom.
Come on, have a seat, bro.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 1. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools.
Now, when you consider these things, there's congregations, and I know the Jewish do it a lot, where the people will allow different people to come up and read. Here's the problem of that. Different people have different levels of understanding. And I've seen the part where they're allowing people to talk in front of the whole congregation, and these people been in the Word about 16 minutes. And the stuff that they are saying in front of that whole congregation is absolutely foul. Somebody showed me a picture of a very well-established congregation, and they're, basically passing the mic, letting people talk, and eventually, as people get in the mood, different things starts flying out of their mouth. So, but I understand where they connect this to, because they go back to when you read, and it says, and the Messiah stood up for to read on the Sabbath day. So then people have turned that into the personal testimony type thing, but you never know what's going to fly out of somebody's mouth. And you can't undo the damage that's done after somebody does that, or they say whatever they, was thinking about something they saw in a movie last night, and it fly out in front of the whole congregation. How you going to undo that? Go ahead.
For they consider not that they do evil. Verse 2, be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by multitude of words.
Right. There are certain situations that you have to understand that the more you say, the more problems you're going to be in. This is why when the police pull you over, they start the conversation. Now, they're the ones in power, right? They're the one with the gun, they're the one with the badge, they're the one with the car, they're the one with the light, they're the one with the recording, they're the one with everything. But they automatically throw it to you. Do you know why I pull you over? Hell no. I don't know why you pulled me over. I don't know nothing. And I ain't saying nothing. They're giving you an opportunity to tell on yourself. Do you know why I have pulled you over? Oh, now I'm supposed to be a mind reader. Now my crystal ball broke, bro. Why did you pull me over? There's a reason why he asked that question. He's trying to use your mouth to condemn you. And half of the time we don't understand that you have confessed in opening your mouth. Do you know why I pulled you over? Yeah, because I passed that stoplight. Done deal. I ain't got to do no more work. Now he already writing out his ticket. Why? Because you confessed. Then he asks you that, even if when they read you your rights, and they ask you, do you understand the words? And once you say yes, you've also confessed again. So you already done confessed 2 times and you don't even know it. And can't understand why you're not winning in court. You got 2 confessions against you. There's one thing that you'll find out, that rich people will automatically stop the whole thing. I ain't talking to my lawyer here. I have absolutely nothing to say without legal representation. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 4. When you vow a vow unto Elohim, defer not to pay it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you have vowed.
Now this goes more than just your vow to Yahweh our Elohim. This goes into the vows that we make between one another. And it goes into even deeper than vows, things that we are maybe agreeing to and things of that nature. So there's much more power in our mouth and in our words than we understand. Before the Messiah would do something, he would ask, do you believe I can do this? Why did you need to say that with your mouth? That you believe he could do it. Go ahead.
Better it is that you should not vow than you should vow and not pay. Suffer not your mouth to cause your flesh to sin. Neither say you before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should Elohim be angry at your voice and destroy the work of your hands?
Right. So now, because we don't understand, or because we don't see an angel, then we do not understand who we've uttered those things before. Suffer not your mouth to cause your flesh to sin. Neither say you before the angel, it was an error. But because we don't see the angel, we don't consider that. That you can't backtrack them words and tell the angel, you know what, my bad, delete that. Delete that, bro. You got a pencil? No, man. I got a writer's ink on. Ain't no erase on it. Ain't no erase on no ink pen. Ain't no backspace because he ain't typing it in with no phone. So ain't no backspace. Ain't no delete that post. You know what? Delete that post, Angel. I'm sorry. I done made a mistake. No. You said it right. All right. Well, there it is. This is what we're gonna go with. Go ahead.
For in the multitude of dreams and many words, there are also diverse vanities. But fear you, Elohim.
Diverse vanities. When we look at defining this vanity or the word that's used here in this portion, we find Habel, which in Strong's H 1891, emptiness or vanity, something transitory or unsatisfactory. Then we go to the root word of that was Habal, which is in Strong's H 1891, and that is to be vain. And this is how it grows: to be vain in act, word, or expectation, to lead astray. So now we have different levels. Vanity is a thing that is not one particular thing. Vanity is a very, very wide problem. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. So we have to be vain in act, word, or expectation. Genesis 3, and let's read verses 1 through 13.
Verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, has Elohim said you shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Now, I've heard various aspects of this story, and I've heard, even when I was taught that the man was there when all of these things took place. But as you start slowing some of this down, you have to get out of it that there are separate conversations here between the man, the woman, and the serpent. Because it says the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh had made. So it was slick. And he said unto the woman, he didn't say unto the man. He said unto the woman, yea, Elohim have said you shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And then the woman answers back. Verse 2.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.
Now, it already told you in the beginning that the serpent was slick, right? Well, the serpent is asking the woman because that all of those rules wasn't given to the woman. That was given to the man. So he's automatically not going to the one who he got the information from. So that's already step number one of slick. Instead of asking the person who was told, I ain't going to get it from the horse's mouth. No, I'm going to get it from the horse's tail. See? So I'm going to ask the horse's tail. I ain't going to ask the horse's mouth. See? So he already, this is step number one of slickness. He's not asking the right person. Go ahead.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Yea, the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die.
So automatically offering a different thought process than what was delivered. Now, the thought process, although it was foul and deceiving, on one aspect, the thought process is correct, because he says you shall not surely die, meaning you're not going to die right now. See, and that part, the woman is able to identify with that real quick, like, because Yahweh then delivers the end result. You eat of this, you're going to die. Well, you would automatically think, okay, I eat it, I'm going to die right then. Well, he says you won't surely die. Well, this thing gives the woman some strength in this going away from Yahweh, because she does not surely die, because she don't die right away. Go ahead.
For Elohim does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat.
Right. Now, this is her. She's making all the decisions. She saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took the fruit thereof and did eat. Go ahead.
And gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
So because of that, a lot of people end up saying, well, he was there during the whole process. But when you go back further in the book, it says the woman was deceived, not the man. Keep reading.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, Where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself.
Okay, now think about the slickness of the serpent one more time. The serpent went looking for her. Who did Yahweh come look for?
Yeah.
See his slickness? See his slickness always, that's like that little slimy insurance salesman that always came to the house and he never want to talk to your dad, but he always want, boy, where your mom at? Why the hell you always come here looking for my mom? My dad out back swinging a big hammer. Let me call him in here. Let's talk to him. That insurance man had a pocket full. I don't know if y'all ever seen that insurance man pull out some money. I seen that insurance man pull out the money fat enough to choke a cow. I said, oh, look at all that money. Yeah, he going from house to house collecting that money for all them old ladies. And them policies were so upside down, they might have paid $30,000 for a $10,000 policy. And he was collecting that money faithfully. But he went straight to them women. Every time. He knew exactly what he was doing. The difference here, automatically. Yahweh walking in the garden. Adam, man, where are you? Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 11. And he said, Who told you that you was naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat?
Mm-hmm.
And the man said,
This is how, what really pulls me to the point that those were separate conversations. Because all of the blame would have went one way. But do you see that the blame is staggered when it comes out? Go ahead.
The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
You notice he said nothing about the serpent. He said, the woman. I know you told me not to eat it, but then the woman gave, that woman, she ain't died. She gave to me, and then now we're smarter than naked. Go ahead.
And Yahweh Elohim said unto the woman, What is this that you have done?
Uh-huh.
And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and
Pass
I
the
did
buck. See, each one of them passing the buck on. His buck ended with her. Her buck went somewhere else. That lets you know those were separate conversations. Because all that blame would have went in one place. The serpent beguiled us. That ain't what he said. He said, no. She gave me, and I did eat. Now, what was his reason for saying she gave to me and I did eat? You do understand he was throwing that back on Yahweh. Remember, you gave me this woman now. Yeah. So ultimately, he's trying to tell Yahweh, it's your fault. You gave, I was here by myself. Remember that. Now, and there was no sin. And then you gave me this fine specimen here, and then I did whatever she asked. And then now that's why because. Right. So he's throwing that back to Yahweh, saying, the woman, you remember the gift you gave me. You remember that? Yeah, she did this. Go ahead.
That was it, verse
That was
13.
it. Let's go to Numbers chapter 30. Yeah, he want to remind Yahweh. You do remember that this was the gift you gave me, right? See, and it's funny. I remember my elder saying, every time I go into Genesis, I find something else. Yeah. And you go into it because honestly, before, I didn't really see that part of why he says it was the woman. Yeah, he throwing that back on Yahweh. You gave me this gift. And that gift you gave me is what did this. Not that it was not his responsibility to take out to look after his gift. You don't just get a gift and then just let it go and do whatever it want to do. You still have to do something in dealing with that gift. But that statement was a little bit more than just the words that's there. Numbers chapter 30, and let's read verses 1 through 16.
And Moshe spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. If a man vow a vow unto Yah, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. If a woman also vow a vow unto Yah, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, and her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she has bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she has bound her soul shall stand.
Right. So then if the person that is in charge says absolutely nothing, he has established all the things that have proceeded out of that woman's mouth. Not by him saying anything. He has established it by not saying anything. Go ahead.
But if her father disallow her in the day that he hears, not any of her vows of her bonds wherewith she has bound her soul shall stand, and Yahweh shall forgive her, because her father disallowed her.
So even though there's this thing that has been uttered out of this woman's mouth, she still has another layer of protection, and that's her head. Her head is her father. He has the ability to cover that, even though she has vowed it, even though she has said something. So this then establishes the weight that sits on the head of the house when something is brought to their attention, not later. See, you have to pay attention to the part that it says on the day that he hears it. That means something. So you can't let it grow and let it fester and then say, you know what, this is a bad idea. No. You have to get into the habit of dealing with things at the point that you hear them, because that is where Yahweh is going to hold us responsible. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And if she had at all an husband, when she vowed or uttered aught out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vows shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
Right. And her husband heard it and held his peace. He has then offered his signature on it by not saying a thing. And sometimes, and this is where you have to deal with things in a spiritual manner. It may be a situation where the man can't stop his wife from doing something because she proud and loud and got a pocket full of money. So, what is his only recourse? I don't agree with that. That's it. If she push and do whatever she want to do, when Yahweh come with the whipping stick, Yahweh, I told her not to do it, but I can't stop her. You see, she got deep pockets. She did it on her own. Okay. That's between her and Yahweh. But Yahweh going to be coming for that man. What do you say on the day that this happened? I said don't do it. All right. I got the rest then. But if you ain't open your mouth, guess who finna get that whipping too? Right. See, being head of the household ain't just, you know what I'm saying, you beating on your chest talking about you in charge of the remote. Go ahead.
You know, in verse 7, it clearly states what you said, and held his peace at her in the day. Let's change that to on the day that he heard it.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. But if her husband disallowed her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of none effect. And Yahweh shall forgive her.
Yeah. But what if he does that, and then she still do what she want to do? Go ahead.
But every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their souls, shall stand against her. And if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her, and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband has utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows, or concerning the bond of her soul, shall not stand. Her husband has made them void, and Yahweh shall forgive her.
Right. Yahweh shall forgive her because her husband wiped that vow clean. So there's a whole nother level of protection for a woman in this. Go ahead.
Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void.
Right. So this is why in the New Testament, when the woman says, give me this water that I thirst not, the first thing that the Messiah said was, go call your husband and come here. She said, I don't have no husband. He said, you've well said that what you said, for you've had 5 husbands and the one you have now is not yours. So even if you brought Mr. Friends with Benefits over here, he wouldn't be able to disannul no vow because he ain't your husband anyway. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 14. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he established all her vows, or all her bonds which are upon her. He confirms them, because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard them.
He confirms them by not saying a thing. Go ahead.
But if he shall anyways make them void after that he has heard them, then he shall bear her lawlessness.
He has the power to bear her lawlessness. So then you back up to the situation in the garden. He had an opportunity to bear that lawlessness, but not if you go along with it. Matthew chapter 12. You can't cover nothing that you walk with. Yahweh, I want to cover this armed robbery. Where was you? Oh, I was counting the money in the van. Well, how the hell you gonna cover it? You participated. Matthew chapter 12, and we're going to read verses 33 through 37.
Verse 33. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and its fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by his fruit.
Right. So we have to make a decision here. Either that tree is going to be good or the tree is going to be corrupt. When we bounce back and forth, there's a problem with that tree. Go ahead.
O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart brings forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth evil things.
Right. So this lets you know a good man out of the good treasure of the heart brings forth good things. So the things that come out of the mouth are a result of the things that are in the heart. So people get to drinking that bowl juice, and when they get to drinking a big tall a cup of that boldness, and then they start talking, and then when that boldness wear off, they won't take them words back. No. There's some things that boldness, that cup of boldness, lets you say. So I done been in a situation where somebody done drunk a whole lot of stuff, and they end up. It ain't never a good thing to call somebody at midnight after you've been drinking. It don't ever turn out good. Now in the morning, that sister tried to renegotiate all them things she had said at midnight after she been drinking. I said, look, you can't tell me that. I know exactly what I heard. You do not call anybody else after you've been drinking. It wasn't a good idea. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 36. But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by the words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned.
Not by other people's words, by your words. So then we have to deal with what is idle. Idle in this passage is a Greek word that's used there, argos. In Strong's G692, it is inactive, that is unemployed, lazy, useless, barren, or slow. So then this particular, these idle words really don't have any meaning. They really don't have any purpose, yet you're still going to have to answer for them. Matthew chapter 15. And let's read verses 10 through 20.
And he called the multitude and said unto them, Hear and understand. Not that which goes into the mouth defiles a man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man.
Right. Now, understand, if you read the part before this, they're asking about unwashing hands. This is not where pork is cleansed. Because you have that strange Sunday morning doctrine that this is where all food was cleansed and now you can eat anything. I just heard on the news that the Bourdain dude died, and they said that he apparently, committed suicide. I'll be honest with you. They told me, I think Leah said, did you hear Anthony Bourdain was dead? First thing I thought was, damn, he done ate the wrong thing. First thing came to my head, because he would eat anything. Anything. Go to strange places, and some of that stuff he be eating, I'm like, that's still moving. Ain't there something moving in there? So automatically, I was, automatic thought. And then after that, I was like, okay, so what happened to him? But automatically, it was there. Yahweh has given us a dietary law. Everything that he made was not to be eaten. There are things that Yahweh has created on this earth to help preserve the cycle that's on the earth. But you ain't supposed to jump in there and try to eat any of that stuff that's supposed to be preserving this cycle. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Then came his disciples and said unto him, Know you that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, Every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
Right, and you have to deal with both going to fall into a ditch. There are a lot of people that believe that they are covered because their pastor or their leader or their priest said such and such, and I'm just listening to him. It said both gonna fall into a ditch. Not if the blind leader leads you in the ditch that he gonna be in the ditch. No, you're gonna be in the ditch with him because you're following. That means you gotta have some common sense when you're reading the word. When somebody come up and say, yeah, you need to sign up all your belongings, that should be some of that common or some of that rare sense that should pop up and say, oh, why in the hell would I sign over my house? That's a strange request anyway. Where has Yahweh asked anybody to sign over their property to join a congregation? That'll be my last day in that congregation. Now, that'll be my last hour. I don't think I'm going to finish. I don't even think I'm going to finish this sermon. You know what? This is a sermon from the devil. I'm out. Peace. That's it. I don't even need to finish that. When you passing out sheets for us to sign over our property, I pretty much know I'm about to get the hell on. I ain't got to finish. What I need to finish for? Go ahead.
Then answered Cephas and said unto him, Declare unto us this parable. And Yahshua said, Are you also yet without understanding? Do not you yet understand that whatsoever enters in at the mouth goes into the belly and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceed out of the mouth comes forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashen hands defiles not a man.
Right, so this part right here lets you know what was the ultimate topic. But if you don't read to the end of verse 20, then people will tell you that, you see, food don't defile somebody, and they'll take this whole subject and use it out of context. But the point here, verse 18, but those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart. So you tell what's in somebody's heart by what comes out of their mouth. So then what proceeded out of their mouth was what was in their heart. Evil thoughts, murders, adultery, fornication, theft, all that stuff is in their heart for it to come out of their mouth. See? And we have this thing, you know, when we was little, they used to, you know, we used to say that all the time. You know what, I take that back. But you have to realize when you get grown, ain't no taking that back. You can't tell nobody, I hate you. I take that back. No, man, that stuff still burnt. It's still burning right now. I hate you. I can't get that out of there. That's in there. Back in the days, I used to talk to this little girl. It was one of them little puppy love things where she broke up with me, right? In a couple of days, I guess it might have been the next day, she called me and I was like, what you calling me for? She said, what you talking about? I said, you broke up with me. So for her, you know, not to take, you know, responsibility for it, she said, oh, I must have been sleeping. I said, damn, you break up with people when you're sleeping? Because she knew she couldn't take the word back and say she didn't say it because there were too many words that came out. So then there's got to be a reason why those words just flowed out of there. Let's go to James chapter 3.
1308.
Me and my mama used to laugh about that for a long time. We'd just be doing something, and my mama said, you know, I must have been sleeping. And we both just started laughing. James chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 1 through 16.
My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in the word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth.
So it's making the point that it is the mouth area that governs everything else. That although this horse is 50 times stronger than you, you direct an animal that is stronger than you by a little piece of metal that is stuck in the horse's mouth. You turn him, you stop him, you make him go, all by his mouth. Go ahead.
Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold how great a matter a little fire kindles.
Right. If you got a 3-story building and you throw one match in there, you can burn that whole building down with one match. You're just a little bit of fire. But it's going to keep growing. Go ahead.
And the tongue is a fire, a world of lawlessness. So is the tongue among our members, that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea, is tamed, and has been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison.
It is one of those things that we will constantly have to work at. You know, I had somebody tell me years ago before I was in the Word, they said, you know, you have the power to make or completely break somebody's day by what you let come out of your mouth. Of course, I cussed them out, you know. I ain't know no better then. I was young and stupid, you know. So it wasn't until later that I found out, oh, wow, it's some truth to that statement. So, you know, at that point, you have to learn how to alter some things. I really didn't understand that was, you know, going on in that manner. And then not far after that, I had, because when you grow up joking and you do comedy and things like that, you're supposed to be cutthroat in that, you know, line of work. So that was, you know, normal. I knew there was some things that had to change when I had a big black 6'5" drug dealer tell me I hurt his feelings. I was like, I hurt your feelings telling jokes? You say adult, man. How I hurt your feelings? But that let me know, okay, I gotta back up. If you got drug dealers, getting misty, then something ain't right here. You gotta alter some things, and that's when you start to realize the power of those words. I mean, I ain't never gonna stop joking, but it was the way that I joked before that was cutthroat. Cutthroat. Everything was fair game. Your mama, your daddy, your dead little sister. It didn't matter. Everything. It was cutthroat. And that's the whole point about. It's not like everything about you has to change. You just have to learn and let Yahweh alter how we do some of those things. Because some of those things that He has allowed you to go through, that is your strength that He's going to use for the sake of the word. So He needs you to still have that power. But you have to learn how to control some of those very things. You can't just let it control you. Go ahead.
Jacob chapter 3 and verse 9. Therewith bless we Elohim, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of Elohim. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Does a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries?
There's something wrong with that tree. If you turn on a fountain and sweet and bitter water come out of it, and if you go to a fig tree and it got some berries that don't belong on that tree coming out, there's something wrong with that tree. I don't think you should eat that fruit. That is one confused tree. It has got to be genetically modified if it's got two different fruits on it. Something wrong with that tree. But then consider yourself. What kind of fruit are we producing? And it's not like the fig is better than the olive berry. No, the problem is you got more than one type of fruit on the same tree. Be that what you're supposed to be, and be that. Go ahead.
Either a vine, figs, so can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. Who is a wise man and endowed with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
And your conversation is not just what you say. Your conversation is also what you do. So as you go about to do your works for Yahweh, how does it testify of what kind of individual you are? Because see, some people are the deepest Hebrews on the Sabbath day. And around Wednesday, hey, boy, they done shot at about 2 people. And we're like, wait a minute. It ain't been but a couple of days since the Sabbath. It gone already? Oh, but they some loving Hebrews on the Sabbath day. I done had some Hebrews. Boy, they shalom you and hug you so tight you think your rib gonna break. But boy, they already starting up some hell in the parking lot before the car even crank up. You ain't even got out the parking lot yet. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 14. But if you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descends not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish.
Right. And people think all wisdom is good. See? They think all knowledge is good. But do understand the beginning of our destruction started with understanding. So we think we getting greater understanding and you getting closer and closer to the devil. He was the one that started this. Don't you want to be like a God and have all this knowledge? Don't you want to know all this stuff? Come here and take a walk with me. I'm going to make you smart. Right. A big smart flame in the fire. And what good did that do you? Go ahead.
For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work.
All right, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 17. Deuteronomy 17, and we're going to read verses 8 through 13.
Verse 8. If there arise a matter too hard for you in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within your gates, then shall you arise and get you up into the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose.
So when we deal with how righteous judgment is uttered, see here they have a separation in how they do things in the daughter of Babylon. You have a book for what goes on in your religious activities or your church life. Then you have a totally different law book that is downtown in the courthouse, which is purposely written so that you would not understand it. It is full of Latin terms, which was, the same thing that they wanted your Bible to be, in a way that you wouldn't be able to understand it. So, but when you talk about a righteous governmental system, this is the same law book. The same law book that you take the Sabbath class is the same law book you're going to take when you have a matter against a brother or a sister, when you have an altercation. It's the same book. We ain't got now another one. So if you study your book, if you go through all of these things from generation to generation, we shouldn't have to have a lawyer to plead our case. Them two people ought to be able to plead their cases. One man say what he got to say, another say what he got to say, and make his correlations as to why he believes the way that he believes and where he got it from. When you have the same book, it makes for a better chance for righteous judgment and for people to understand righteous judgment. There's a whole lot of things that happen in a court of law here in the daughter of Babylon that people think is right, and you get to the court and can't figure out why you lost. They got some twisted things in here. In their law, it is strange. You may have one thing, but because you didn't do something else, your case got dropped. What? So I didn't present my statement in the right way? Yeah. See, right here, you were supposed to put a comma and you put a period. What? Yeah, you didn't formulate the paper right, so we're going to throw it out. What? It is all kind of wicked. Yahweh don't operate like that. So some people, and of course what we learned on Sunday morning, that, hey, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff that's in the beginning of the book. This is how you're from generation to generation. These are the things that's going to guide how you and your children and your children's children operate. So for somebody to tell you not to read this, how you think you're going to survive in the kingdom? How you think you're going to deal with any altercation in the kingdom? It's from this stuff. So the people that are telling you not to read it, they don't plan on you being in that kingdom. That's why they're telling you not to read it, because they know they ain't going. They done already accepted a bribe. They know they not going. Don't get it twisted. Klepto know he not going to be there. So ain't no need of even thinking about it. He know he not going. Once you accept the bribe, ain't no talking about, he knows he not going. Ain't no, I think, I believe, maybe I might. No, he know for a fact. And if he can get you to stay out of the instructions, you ain't going either. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And you shall come unto the priests, the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show you the sentence of judgment. And you shall do according to the sentence which they of that place which Yahweh shall choose shall show you. And you shall observe to do according to all that they inform you, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach you, and according to the judgment which they shall tell you. You shall do. You shall not decline from the sentence which they shall show you, to the right hand nor to the left.
Now, it says you shall not decline from the sentence which they shall show you. They're going to instruct you out of your same book. So you're not going to have to go home and say, I need to go back and see that sentence of the law where you got. No, he's going to tell you where it is, and you can go home and read it 50 times over if you want to. So you're going to know where he got it from, how the decision was made. I've left the courtroom before and was bewildered. What the hell just happened? You go in there, you don't understand what's going on. And that's whenever you're going in a situation where you don't know what's going on, it makes room for the heathen to make a lot of money. I just got a one of those things what they say when you go to the doctor and they come back and they said, this is not a bill. I'm glad it wasn't because it was confusing as hell. I mean, it had all kind of things, 15% of a 85% of a 13. Man, what the, I need a Texas Instrument. What the hell is this? So did you pay it or not? Do I owe it? Man, there was so much stuff on that paper. Right. That's how I know they crooks. Because ain't no way in hell I can understand nothing on that. And they made sure I couldn't understand nothing on it. They charging me for stuff. It's like hospital stay. I'm like, who the hell went to the hospital? You went to the hospital? You went to the hospital? Who the hell went to the hospital? They start charging you for stuff. You don't even know what that stuff is. You get one Band-Aid, they charge you for the whole box. I used to think people was wrong when they go in the hospital and they just start taking stuff. I was like, man, why you stealing from the hospital? Now I'll be like, bro, give me some of this stuff. Look, I'm paying for this stuff. They charge me for the whole box. I need all these damn bandages. I need some gauze. I need all this. Give me a few of them towels. Hell, I might sweat on my way out of here. Hell, they charge me for that stuff. That's that part of that bill that you don't understand. All that's on there. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 12. And the man that will do so presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest that stands to minister there before Yahweh your Elohim, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and you shall put away the evil from Israel.
Right, you put away evil from amongst Israel. And those are the things like we discussed in Bible study. Those are the things that's going to make righteousness stand in the land. When you deal with those things and people see that they are dealt with. Why unrighteousness goes on for so long, people see something happen, but then they never see what happens to any of those people that do unrighteousness. So what does it do? It makes other people want to do it too. Like, why in the hell am I doing right? They sitting over here doing wrong. Ain't nothing happened to them. They've been doing wrong for all that time. Look at the house they got in. What is that, an 80-inch they got in now? Look at that. I'm sitting here doing right. I got the little 13 in. I can't even see who on the TV. They doing all kind of foulness. Ain't nothing happen. It makes other people emboldened to do evil when you see evil people and they keep prospering. This is why Yahweh said, don't be envy at the wicked. Don't envy the wicked. Because you start looking at, man, they do this stuff and ain't nothing happen to them. Man, they did this and ain't nothing happen to them. You got to understand, Yahweh also says, he preserves the wicked for the day of judgment. So while you looking at that person and feeling envious of them, you don't understand that you was blessed that every time you did it, stop. Every time you got ready to do it, and you thinking you being punished because you can't do the evil, and Yahweh keeping you from a horrible day of judgment. Every time you do it, sit down, put it down. That ain't yours. What? But look at all that stuff he got in that bag. Look at what day. Ain't nobody gonna say anything about that bag. Y'all be like, yeah, but that's not my child. I'm not disciplining him. That's Lucifer's son. I have no reason to discipline him. Let him steal as much as he wants to steal. Him and his daddy gonna be in the same lake of fire. Go ahead.
And all the people shall hear and fear and do no more presumptuously.
So then we have to deal with what presumptuously is. So, excuse me, when we look this word up, presumptuously, in Strong's, it is H2087, which is Zedon. And this word then is arrogance, pride, and proud. So then when we do something up to a certain point, now it becomes prideful, laced with arrogance. Now we have this presumptuous sins, and now it's something on a whole nother level. Because when you talk about having sacrifice or having ourselves being put in the right position with Yahweh, we're going to find that there's a problem when we start adding in presumptuous sins. That's something altogether different. Let's go to chapter 19, Deuteronomy chapter 19, and let's start that at verse 15.
One witness shall not rise up against a man for any lawlessness or for any sin, and any sin that he sins. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before Yahweh, before the priests and the judges which shall be in those days.
Right. And when you deal with this, this is what helps the matter to be dissolved in resolved in a rightful way, because the people who are standing there as the judges are the same ones who go in and out of this book on a constant basis. So now it is not just based on some law or statute, it is based on the word of Yahweh our Elohim. And when they deal in this day in and day out, now we have a better situation. When you go to a man's court, man, they have so many affiliations. You can get a lawyer, but if that lawyer has already made an affiliation with somebody else, then your lawyer is really not your lawyer. See, he's made another deal. You have to consider something. Let's say you're suing a company, all right? This company did something wrong against you, and you think we got a really good case. Everybody don't tell you got a really good case. And you go there, and they drag it out, and at the end, your lawyer come up and say, you know, this is the settlement. I know it ain't much, but I think you should take it. Well, consider something. 9 times out of 10, that lawyer is never going to see you again, and you're never going to see them. But consider the thing with this company. This is our company's bribe lawyers. Said, look, I got $100,000 worth of work over here. I'll give you these contracts, and you help me with this client over here and get them to settle. Boom. So the lawyer has not only gotten, because they're still going to get a portion of the payment that you get, but then they got this contract work that is now coming on the other side. So now they've made a deal on both sides. This is why it's very, very difficult to trust what happens in a courtroom in the Daughter of Babylon, because of all of those other affiliations that those people have already made with one another. And it is actually more beneficial for the lawyer to make a deal with that company than with you. You're only going to pay the lawyer one time. With that company, they have the ability to get paid thousands of times, even if it's in the form of work, which the company is going to pay anyway. They're going to pay somebody to do that work. So if all they got to do is sell you down the road to get that work, look at how rich they got by rolling you over. Go ahead.
Verse 18, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and, behold, if the witness be a false witness, and has testified falsely against his brother, then shall you do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother.
Right. And then there's some situations where people are receiving things, and things have come back to them, and they don't really understand why the things are happening in that way. When you come as a false witness, this is what I tell people. Lying is one of the strangest judgments in this book. In other judgments and other things, it is a certain judgment. Boom, this is what it is. Lying is the strangest one, where the judgment jumps all around, because the judgment is whatever you intended to do with the lie. So if you intended on defrauding with the lie, Yahweh said you need to be defrauded. If you intended on committing adultery with the lie, boom, there go your judgment. And then when it comes back, people are like, well, what the hell is this? Right, that's what you intended to do with that lie. That's why that judgment is not the same thing. It moves all around this book. Whatever your intentions was when you brought forth the deception, that is your judgment. And it is the thing that we think is the least thing in the world, lying. And it is the strangest judgment out of everything. I've read a whole lot of stuff. Lying It's the strangest one of all the stuff I done read. Because it jumps all around. Why do you think when you read the thing about Daniel and the stuff that happened, why did those people have to go in the lion's den? Why did those people have to face that? Because that's what they had happen with their lie. So since that's what your lie did, now you got to deal with that. Go ahead.
Then shall you do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother, so shall you put the evil away from among you.
Right. So if your intention was to ruin somebody else's name with a lie, Yahweh is going to cause something to happen that ruins your good reputation. This law governs how we are going to operate when it says, and when we deal with Yahshua coming to set forth a righteous governmental system here on the earth, this is what he's going to govern it by. So we're not going to have to try to figure out, I wonder how he going to do it. You already know how he going to do it. You already know how it's going to be ordered. He's already given you that. Yep. Numbers chapter 15. See, it wouldn't be a just balance if he didn't tell you what it was. See, if you got to go and guess and try to figure it out, you know, like, when two people stand before judgment in a righteous governmental system, they should already know what the process is. Now, what ends up happening is our emotional attachment. See, emotional attachment can cause you not to see what's right or wrong because emotion's so strong. And emotion can make you feel like you did right and you did wrong. But that emotion told you, you're going to win this thing. You got this thing in the bag. And Yahweh going to see it just like you see it. And that's the part that throws us. That emotional part that tells us that Yahweh going to see it like I see it. Yahweh going to see it how it is written in his book. Because you feel an emotional way, but guess what? That other person sitting beside you feel emotional about their position too. So what makes your emotion more valuable than theirs? Numbers chapter 15, and let's start that at verse 22.
And if you have erred, and not observe all these commandments which Yahweh hath spoken unto Moshe, even all that Yahweh has commanded you by the hand of Moshe, from the day that Yahweh commanded Moshe, and henceforward among your generations, then it shall be, if aught be committed by ignorance without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall offer one young bullock for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor unto Yahweh, with his meat offering and his drink offering, according to the manner, and one kid of the goats for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it is ignorance. And they shall bring their offering, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yahweh, and their sin offering before Yahweh for their ignorance.
Right. So their ignorance, they didn't know. This thing was brought unto them. Now, the question is, when something is brought unto us, what do we do? Go ahead.
And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel, and the stranger that sojourns among them, seeing all the people were in ignorance. And if any soul sin through ignorance, then he shall bring a she-goat of the first year for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for the soul that sins ignorantly, when he sinneth by ignorance before Yahweh, to make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. You shall have one law for him that sinneth from ignorance. You shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourns among them. But the soul that does aught presumptuously.
So now we got a totally different turn here, because a lot of times people just say, well, hey, I did such and such. This is what we're going to do. But now we got to throw in this part where we deal with this presumptuous sin. And now it's, if it's done through pride and arrogance, so it wasn't a situation where you didn't know. No, you made a decision. Go ahead.
Whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproaches Yahweh. and that soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he has despised the word of Yahweh.
Right. Because of the pride and arrogance, he knew the word, he despised the word. I know it says don't do this, but I'm on my way. Well, you didn't sin through ignorance then. You wasn't ignorant of what the word said. You wasn't unknowledged about a situation. No. You made a decision. See, that's why you have to weigh the things about what happened in the garden. It says that Eve was deceived. The man wasn't deceived. He made a decision. In some cases, that's actually worse than being deceived. At least she can fall back and say, I was tricked. He wasn't tricked. He made a decision. Go ahead.
And has broken his commandment, that soul shall utterly be cut off. His lawlessness shall be upon him.
Right. So then now we have this turn, and when you deal with a presumptuous thing, you have to think about Cain's reply to Yahweh, and just how prideful it was. And this is what gets us in some of our biggest things. Once we get into a situation, what are the very next words that come out of your mouth after you get? And some of us go, because we're programmed to automatically go defensive. So Yahweh asks, where's your brother? Listen to the pride that comes out of Cain's mouth. I don't know, am I my brother's keeper? He answered Yahweh with pride and arrogance because he done got caught killing his brother. Yahweh already know he done killed his brother. But automatically, when that thing is brought to him, pride and arrogance is determined by the very next words that came out of his mouth after the deed was done or after it was brought to him. And consider what it says. There ain't no sacrifice for presumptuous sin. You're going to do this in pride and arrogance, and you know what it was. And his answer showed that he was on a different mind set. Let's go to Psalms chapter 19.
Psalm chapter 19 and verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of Elohim, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night shows knowledge. There is no speech nor language wherewith their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them has he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoice as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there's nothing hid from the heat thereof.
Right. It's actually hard for me to even watch the History Channel anymore, because everything is ancient aliens. Everything is about, some space people. They would even deal with some things, but they will never say angel. It's got to be an extraterrestrial. And everything that they deal with, that some aliens have brought some technology here, rather than them saying, some evil angels. And I would have absolutely no problem if they say evil angels came and brought understanding to certain civilizations. If you think about in the garden, what happened? He came to offer knowledge. That knowledge was to get you to turn away from Yahweh. Lucifer says to the Messiah, if you bow down and worship me, all shall be yours. So I don't have any problem with believing that evil angels will offer people certain amounts of knowledge if they will use that knowledge to serve them. I don't have a problem with that. But they ain't never going to say angel on History Channel. It's going to be an extraterrestrial. They're going to only deal with spaceships because they can't deal with any part of righteousness of a God. What they end up saying was, you know, those various gods must have came here and made all of us, and then they use us to war against each other. It is absolutely, it's History Channel has turned into the Sci-Fi Channel. You can't just get regular things anymore. But what it shows though is we're getting closer and closer to the redemption of the children of Israel and the setting up of Yahweh's righteous governmental system, and the rest of the earth trying to run from it. They figure, look at Yahweh's law only applies to earth. So if we can get to Mars, we the hell out of here. We straight. So they putting all their energy on getting the hell out of here. Because they say, look, what the rules was delivered where? Here. So they figure if we can leave, because it scares people. They say, you mean them people that walking around with their pants hanging down, them Israel? Oh, hell no. They gonna rule the earth? Oh, hell no. We got to go. We got to go. No, they not gonna rule the world. Because Yahweh gonna take care of them. You're not gonna walk around here dealing with things and we can see your pretty draws. That ain't gonna work. See? They gonna have to, you know, conform to our culture. See? But that's not what they see. The people don't turn on the TV and see people who look like us. They turn on the TV and see people who look like Lil Wayne. And that would scare the hell out of anybody. That scares me. Brother Benea sent me a email, and it was like how Macy's is attacking the image of a Hebrew Israelite. The commercial, the brother's name is Yadon Israel. And then they're showing these clothing, and I said, Yadon and Israel? I said, now, ain't that rather interesting? So then he's advertising these clothes. And they're the gayest damn clothes you ever seen in your damn life. I said, oh, okay, so now Israel got to wear the sugary sweet clothing. You know, and then, but you get a Hebrew Israelite first name and last name. And then you watch his clothes and how he moving. I said, well, look, he did everything but strange. But that's supposed to be Israel. See how they play with your mind? So you turn on the thing and you hear, Yadon Israel. You say, what? They done got an Israelite to do a commercial? And then you look at them clothes and they got them pencil sticks hanging out, you know. You know, anytime I see the inside of your arm, damn it, something ain't right. I ain't never supposed to see the inside of any man's arms. If I see the inside of your arm, damn it, we got a problem. Hey, brother, I'm going to need you to turn that. Turn that around, brother. We don't do that. So look at this, man. But you see how you can attack the thought process and the setup of things? Just presenting this look. Yeah, brother, send it to me. It's a Macy's commercial. And you see the stuff and you're like, man. So you go all the way out to present an image to us. And this is what you're presenting. So then that thought process can be, you see, y'all can be Israelites and still dress like women. No, the hell we can't. No, the hell we can't. No, we don't do that. Did you finish that, brother? Where we at?
Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahweh are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yes, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is your servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward.
So when people trying to tell you to stay out of it, they don't want you to be warned. They don't want you to be prepared, because if you start being warned, you'll start backing up and say, you know, man, I can't keep doing such and such. Go ahead.
Who can understand his errors? Cleanse you me from secret faults.
Right. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse you me from secret faults. The problem is, it never does occur to us that people can see things in us that we may not be able to see in ourselves. See, that's already a part of presumptuousness. It's a part of pride to believe that, you know, we know ourselves better than anybody else. Hey, look, I've been with me since day one. Hell, you ain't known me for 10 years. Hell, how you gonna tell me about me? See? But the problem is, when you in the TV, you can't see what's on it. See? Sometimes other people backing up can see some things that you can't see. I remember years ago, somebody told me, do you know one day you're going to make songs about the Bible? I cussed them out. Well, see, right now, that makes us a certain amount of sense, you know, because y'all can see, okay, I made songs, I did all of those things, but not at that time. At that time, I was doing hardcore rap music. Everything was murder, death, kill, and it was sexually explicit. You know, everything was. So how can somebody listen to what I was doing then and say, you know, you're going to make songs out of the Bible? How you hear I'm going to make songs out of the Bible and I just said murder, death, kill 57 times. I'm going to kill you, I'm going to stab you. You know, how in that? So, of course, I couldn't receive that. But lo and behold, as time went on, that was what it was. But I didn't see that. See? So what does that turn into? That turned into you speaking against somebody else because you didn't see your own secret parts about you. Go ahead.
You know, even in that statement is that you can see good as well as bad. We've all had that one teacher that just push, and it's like, she hate me.
Right.
And it's like, no, I see your potential. I'm trying to get it out of you.
Yeah. Hey, bro, there was times I had to ask if my elder even liked me. He set me up on TV show talking about, we gonna do a show. I said, hell yeah, I'm finna do a show with my elder. We gonna do a show. Then he didn't show up. I said, what the hell is the we means me and you. How are you not here? I'm here by myself. And at the time, I'm like, man, I ain't ready to be on no live television show, man. What are you doing? You said we, man. I'm counting on you. Yeah, I know. I'll be there. How you gonna be there, man? We going on in 5 minutes and you at the house. I'm gonna be there, sir. You got a spaceship or something? You been watching the History Channel too? How you gonna get here in 5 minutes? Then after a couple of those, then he started hitting me with this parable stuff. And I don't want no damn parable. What I want is I wanted you to be here with me. Tell me I was there. I said, man, you wasn't there because I was there. I was there because you was there. Man, I don't want no parable, man. I want you here with me. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it made me grow. But it wasn't pretty. Everybody want to grow, but don't nobody want to deal with the ugly. And that ugly gonna make you grow better than that pretty. I can tell you that now. You ain't got to accept it, but it is what it is. Did you finish that?
Verse 13. Keep back your servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Yahweh, my strength and my Redeemer.
All right, let's go to our Songs of Solomon, chapter 5.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 5.
And we're going to read verses 1 through 16.
I am come into my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink. Yes, drink abundantly, O beloved.
So, you're having this situation when you deal with this whole concept of secret faults. You have the bridegroom saying, I am coming to my garden, my sister, my spouse. I've gathered my myrrh with my spice. I've eaten my honeycomb with my honey. There's a reason why they call it the honeymoon. And they would do these things that they believe would make it easier for them to reproduce. Okay, there's something that's supposed to happen on this honeymoon, and this brother is preparing himself to be with his bride. So he's done all of these things and getting ready. Go ahead.
I sleep.
Now, this is the bride. Go ahead.
I sleep, but my heart wakes. It is the voice of my beloved that knocks, saying, "Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled, for my head is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night."
I mean, he speaks fit. He has already prepared himself for his bride. He has made all of these changes. He is preparing himself for this honeymoon. He ready to get down. He says, "Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled, for my head is filled with the dew, my locks with the drops of the night." Brother standing in the damn rain. Go ahead.
I have put off my coat. How shall I put it on? I have washed my feet. How shall I defile them?
She said, "It's not really convenient for me to come deal with you right now. I'm standing in the damn rain. I done had all the honey. I got the honey dew ready. And you tell me it's inconvenient for you to come and deal with me at this point?" Go ahead.
My beloved put his hand by the hole of the door, and my bowels were moved for him. I rose up to open to my beloved.
Right, but after a while. See, not when he was ready, when she was ready. Go ahead.
And my hands dropped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet-smelling myrrh upon the handles of the lock. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had withdrawn himself.
So after being held on for a while, he ain't at the door no more. See, it's the same thing that we've done to Yahweh. See? And it's the same thing that happens to us, and we can't understand why it happens to us in our natural life, because these are the things that we've done in our spiritual life. So now the husband has withdrawn himself because she wanted to move when she wanted to move. Go ahead.
What we call it, playing games?
Uh-huh.
And was gone. My soul failed when he spake. I sought him, but I could not find him, pardon me. I called him, but he gave me no answer.
Right, because when he called, she ain't answer. So now it has really upset the balance of things, because not understanding that he had prepared himself to come and seek her out. Go ahead.
The watchmen that went about the city found me. They smote me. They wounded me. The keepers of the walls took away my veil from me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that you tell him that I am sick of love.
Right, sick of love now. Go ahead.
What is your beloved more than another beloved? O you fairest among women. What is your beloved more than another beloved, that you does charge us? My beloved is white and ruddy.
And when you read white, and that word is bright. They won't tell you that. See that boy, they like to slide something in, because white and ruddy go against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Ruddy is reddish brown.
Yep.
How the hell you gonna be white and reddish brown?
Hmm.
But then you go back and look at the word that was there. Oh, he's bright and ruddy. Ah, right. Boy, the devil's slick. Boy, I tell you, boy, he is slick. I mean, that snake dip himself in water and oil at the same time. Just slide all over the place. Go ahead.
The chiefest among 10,000. His head is as the most fine gold. His locks are bushy and black as a raven.
You see, when you talking about some bushy hair, they need to throw that white in there. So, you know, it's confusing as hell to people. I mean, so who the hell is white and ruddy and got bushy locks? But you take away that white and put what was supposed to be there and bright. He bright, reddish brown, and got bushy hair. Oh, okay, well, it look like Eli Hill. What are you talking about? Yeah, okay, I got a picture now. I can do that now. Okay, I got it. Go ahead.
His eyes are as the eyes of doves by the rivers of waters, washed with milk and fitly set. His cheeks are as a bed of spices, as sweet flowers. His lips like lilies, dropping sweet-smelling myrrh.
Right, and I can hear Thalia saying all this to you like that, right? I can hear all this right here. I can hear that. I can visualize it. Your babes. Your lips like lilies. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, bro.
Verse 14. His hands are as gold rings set with the beryl. His belly is as bright ivory overlaid with sapphires. His legs are as pillars of marble set upon sockets of fine gold.
So it's not like she don't love him. She loves him. She wants to cherish him, but she just wants to do it on her own time and in her own way. That ain't gonna work with Yahweh. Go ahead.
His countenance is as Lebanon, excellent as the cedars. His mouth is most sweet. Yes, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem.
All right. Imagine if Yah shows you something concerning you and another individual, but that individual constantly denies your vision. Your belief in this vision begins to waver. You start to wonder if it was you, if you were a victim of your own vivid imagination. Imagine that this then goes on for quite some time. Then Yah forces the ending of that thing until finally, when there's no other option, the individual finally acknowledges what Yah has given to you. You may be broken down at first. You will be hurt at all the deception. But at the end, no one will ever be able to make you question what Yah gives you ever again. You won't need somebody else's admission to believe. You won't need somebody else's confession to believe. You can look right in the face of liars and still believe. Even when they lie with great emotion and conviction, laced with tears and emotional outbursts, they will never be able to stop you from believing ever again. Now consider the greatness that has been done in your life. Consider a person that has agreed with you, confessed, and acknowledged. They will never be able to get you to this level of belief in what Yah delivers unto you. This kind of power only comes from a certain form of confrontation. So although we may want things to go a certain way, there's a certain growth that Yahweh has to have in us if we have certain things that we have to accomplish for him. So there are certain things that are placed in your path that you couldn't avoid it if you wanted to. And if you do avoid it, you're going to lose the power that he has intended for you. So you may think, man, I should have done such and such and life would have been easier for me. He didn't want an easier life for you. He wanted a stronger life for you. And easy and strong don't go together. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms chapter 18. All things work to the purpose of Yahweh. I tell people, your mom and daddy just didn't happen. They just didn't happen to like each other. Yahweh said them two people gonna get together and make you. Now they can stay together if they want to, but at the end of the day, they ain't got nothing to do with what he needed. Well, I already got what I just need you to make that little big head boy right there. I'm done. I don't give a damn y'all stay each other tonight. Matter of fact, y'all probably gonna kill each other if y'all stay together. But just take care of the child, cause I got plans for him. And y'all don't do whatever y'all want to do. But I got plans for them kids. See? So you weren't just created by happenstance. Yahweh know that, hey, I got a kingdom that I'm going to have to raise up. When you consider the things that happened with Moshe, think about how old he was when those things had taken place. So Yahweh started long before. You got to get up here 40 years, and you got to go out there for 40 years, and then you're going to come back and lead them for 40 years. Yahweh had to prepare for that. That wasn't just no happenstance. That means that woman and that man had to produce that child at that time. Because it was the time when they were saying, all right, it's too many of these damn Hebrew. So let's start killing them. Same thing they do now. When you see us on TV with 5, 6, 7 children, we ain't took no drugs to do that. When you see other nations and they got like 7 kids, They done took all kind of medicine. They had them kids. We don't need that. Who was that? Thomas Jefferson that said, and this is why our houses are upside down to this day. He said the black female was way more beneficial than the black male. Even though he was strong, he was able to do work. The woman was more profitable because she could keep producing more slaves. Just said at some point, the black male gonna get old, and you still gotta feed him. You still gotta take care of him. But the woman is a producer of other slaves. So he said the woman is way more valuable. That whole mindset still followed our upbringing. This is why that insurance man had no problem going in there talking to those women and bypassing the man right off the rip. This was a thing that we had gotten accustomed to in our community. But that's going to change in a righteous governmental system. You go to a brother's house and bypass that brother, you might get knocked down in a righteous governmental system. Did you just walk past that man and try to go talk to his woman? You ain't going to do it no more. You might do it once. But that bag of ice that's on your head when you walking out, you going to tell everybody else, don't do that no damn more. Right? You ain't going to do it no more. They going to take care of that business. Psalms chapter 18, let's start that at verse 1.
I will love you, O Yahweh, my strength. Yahweh is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my Elohim, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. I will call upon Yah, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yah, and cried unto my Elohim. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears.
Now, this shows how Yahweh will allow certain things to happen to you, but it's really about some things that are going to happen far in the future, not about what's really happening to you at that particular point. But that thing that happens to you moves you, because when you deal with this, he's talking about him being delivered after, this situation with Saul. But when you start reading this stuff is eerie like Revelations and some of the things that are happening in the future. And it starts talking about how Dawid was prophetic. Sometimes you're prophetic and don't know that you're prophetic. You're dealing with what's happening right now, not knowing that even in this book, there's a near prophecy and a far prophecy. That sometimes you're dealing with the now, but you're really dealing with the later. You just don't know it yet. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was angry.
Mm-hmm.
There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode up on a cherub, and did fly. Yes, he did fly upon the wings of the wind.
Mm-hmm.
He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed. Hailstones and coals of fire.
Right. You start reading these things and you start thinking about all of the things in Revelation, and these things were not written, yet you find a lot of those things that he's dealing with, and this stuff hasn't happened unto him, but he's completely moved by the many near-death experiences that he has suffered from Saul. So he's got to run from this man. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Yahweh also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Then the channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at your rebuke, O Yah, at the blast of the breath of your nostrils. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me.
So when you talk about the children of Israel being redeemed from all the nations wherein we were scattered, you find that then we are then being delivered from people who are stronger than we are. You have them people that talk about, you know, they're going to go against the establishment. Man, we ain't got no weapons to go against this establishment. They got weapons that turn corners. We got them little bit of straight shooting bullets. Your bullets go straight. They bullets turn. You're like, did that your turn? We ain't got none of that. Go ahead.
They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but Yahweh was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands has he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of Yahweh, and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from mine lawlessness. Therefore has Yahweh recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight.
Right. There were times where he could have killed Saul. There were times where he could have, you know, did this man in. But at the end of the day, what he said was, I will not put my hand on Yahweh's anointed. There was a certain amount of respect that this was still an anointed man of Yahweh. So it ain't but so far I'm going to go, even though I know this man don't mean no good for me. Even though I know he want to kill me, I ain't going to kill him. Go ahead.
Verse 25. With the merciful, you will show yourself merciful. With an upright man, you will show yourself upright.
Right. So then Yahweh shows himself to you how you come to Yahweh. See, this is why a lot of people have done a lot of evil and believe that it's Yahweh's will for them to do it. Because they came with Yahweh in presumptuous and vanity, and that's what Yahweh, that's all he ever showed them, was presumptuous and vanity. Because that's how they showed up. And they feel just as justified. You can't tell them brothers that's on the corner cussing everybody out. You can't tell them they ain't doing Yahweh's work. They doing the work of God. Got the Bible in one hand and cussing flying out the other. Go ahead.
With the pure, you shall show yourself pure. And with the froward, you will show yourself froward.
With the forward, you will show yourself forward. He's going to show them what you get when you search for Yahweh is a glorified mirror. You come wrong, you're going to see wrong. Think about all the twisted cults that have been brought forth out of the same book we read. How that happen? They had a twisted heart and mind when they went in the book, and they came out of the book with a twisted heart and mind. But now they feel justified in their twisted heart and mind. Because they say, I seen it in the Bible. Go ahead.
For you will save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. For you will light my candle. Yahweh, my Elohim, will enlighten my darkness. For by you I have run through a troop, and by my Elohim have I leaped over a wall. As for Elohim, his way is perfect. The word of Yahweh is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is Elohim save Yahweh? Or who is a rock save our Elohim? It is Elohim that girdeth me with strength, and makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. He teaches my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by mine arms. You have also given me the shield of your salvation, and your right hand has holden me up, and your gentleness has made me great.
When you deal with verse 34, he teaches my hands to war. You have to consider that the children of Israel have not collectively gone to war with any nation in thousands of years. So when you talk about us having to go up and set things up, you're talking about something that has been a very, very long way separated from us. So you're talking about something altogether different, something that we don't know. We've joined the armies of the nations that we have lived, but we haven't had our own. This is going to be a whole new arena here. Because as it is written, the saints of the Most High must take the kingdom. See, you have so many people that envision this whole thing of Israel from one vantage point. It's like, you know, what we were talking about in Bible study there. A lot of people are like, you know, hey, they learning Hebrew. You got some people that say, oh, if you don't speak Hebrew, you really ain't no Hebrew. You really ain't trying. And it's like people think that we're gonna go here and zip tang, we're gonna end up in Israel. I don't know what the hell kind of spaceship y'all think we're gonna ride, but there's gonna be a process for you to get from here to the land of Israel. It already said you're gonna have to be in that wilderness. First of all, you're not just going from here to Israel. There's a serious progression that has to happen there. And then, you know, it's part of that thing. You have all of these Hebrews who they say that they're Hebrews, and then they wear any old kind of thing. The woman wear pants, you know. And you go, we got to go through the land of them Muslims. You go through the land of them Muslims with them jeans on, and it's going to be the last day we ever see your wife or your kid. Go ahead, you bad. Go ahead, let it happen. We're going to see. See, oh, they don't just rape them. They make sex slaves out of them. They do all of that. You let your little girl or your woman walk around with them pants and we'll never see her again. And she'll be slaved out down the street. Yahweh gonna take care of that business. People don't want to cover their head. Don't worry about it. Yahweh gonna take care of that business. You walk through that Muslim land like that, they gonna take care of that business. I watched them stop a car with an AK-47 because the sister was showing too much. Put that AK-47 right there. What is that I'm seeing through the... Took care of that business. That AK-47 make it right up tight. See, brother might have to say, sister, you need to do such and such. That AK-47 say a whole lot, boy. When you see that banana clip sitting at the bottom of it, that sister... Wrap up tight. It ain't gonna come loose. It ain't gonna come loose no more. It better not come loose no more. I took care of that business. See? That's gonna take care of that business. See, we playing these games over here. When you see them brothers walk around with them AK-47, because you're not just finna walk in your land. It ain't gonna work like that. And all we're gonna have to see is one or two of them. And they're gonna take care of the business. We said, brother, where your daughter at? Some dudes came and grabbed her because she had on pants. That neck thing was, all right, we got enough dresses for these little girls. I feel sorry for you, brother, but I'm just saying, baby, we straight, right? All right. We're going to take care of that business from now on. See? That's going to take care of that business. Man, I watched something the other day. Man, it was last night. Broke my heart. In Pakistan, they so poor that they end up saying that the kids are going to go work for these rich families. Man, they torture the kids. They do all kind of stuff with the kid. They burning them with hot spoons. They just, basically, the rich people are buying play people for their children. So the children is mistreating these people. And these are like, you know, rich, so-called to-do people. So they buy the little poor children, mistreat them to death. And as long as they pay off the parents, they never get prosecuted. And they just do it over and over and over again. Man, it broke my heart. They were showing the body of this kid and how they burned him, how they gouged him, how they did all of these things to him. And I'm just sitting up there watching this. It was breaking my heart. And I don't watch that much TV. And I'm talking about, I might have turned the TV on, hit the channel button 2 times and ran into that. And it broke my heart. And we don't really understand, how much better things are for us, that our people have gone through that, but we're in a better situation, but then we take those things for granted. And you got to think about, it was like the boy's uncle is going and trying to search for him and try to find out what the family has done to him. I mean, it would break my heart if one of my kids, was missing or gone, or somebody said they were supposed to be working, and you already know it's some strange stuff when they talking about they want to get some kids to come work in their house. Oh, no. See, that funny business right there. See, that is that funny bit, and we don't even consider how, Yahweh has helped us through those things. But it's some things that we should look at from time to time, so you understand what you've been delivered from. Go ahead, brother.
Psalms chapter 18 and verse 36. You have enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued mine enemies and have overtaken them. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. For you have girded me with strength unto the battle. You have subdued under me those that rose up against me.
Those that were more powerful than me. Go ahead.
You have also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me.
And when you consider how Yahweh made Dawid grow, he then runs Dawid away from the king because the king's trying to kill him. Then all these other men, how he got increased with men, is those men were being persecuted somewhere else. So Yahweh made all of them people, and the brothers don't know why they're being persecuted. Because Yahweh's like, yeah, you're going to go help him. Y'all finna build the kingdom. But hey, it don't start out as a kingdom. You just start out with a bunch of dudes who running from oppression. So they're being oppressed. They don't know why they're going through hell, and everywhere they go here, they go through hell. They go here, they go through hell. They go here, go through hell. Yahweh like, yeah, go over there to King David. Yeah, I know you ain't king yet. Just go. So all of these oppressed people keep coming to him, and he keep growing, and they getting better, and they getting better, and they getting better, but they don't know why the hell they keep getting oppressed. They don't know why these things keep happening. Because Yahweh is calling them. But when we think Yahweh calling us, we think somebody going to float down the hall. Kish. I said, Brother Kish, go to side. No. He going to go somewhere and they're going to mistreat the hell out of him. and that's Yahweh. It's hard for us to see Yahweh in that. You get mistreated, they lying on you, they done did all of this stuff, turn your household against you. And you're like, what is this? Yeah, God wants you to go over there. And the longer you stay here, the more hell you're going to have until you get over there where I want you to be. And he did that to all them brothers. And he kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And at the end of the day, those were the happiest brothers because they got there on the ground up. So those were all the captains when the kingdom was set up. Them were the captains. The ones who were there when it wasn't but 2 or 3 people to watch over, those became captains over many thousands. Y'all ain't know what he doing. Just because it don't match what you thinking, don't mean jack. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 41. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto Yahweh. But he answered them not. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets. You have delivered me from the strivings of the people, and you have made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me.
You have made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. These are the things that Israel is going to have happen unto us. And it's going to shock the nations when they understand who we are and who they're going to have to serve. Because the nations have been told, they're sending all this money over there to the Jewish, thinking, well, if we bless Israel, we're going to be blessed. So we just keep sending them money. but they purposely overlook certain things of this book because it's more fitting to try to accept those people as Israel. But the people who really study this book, Gentile and Jew, man, they know that those people are not Israel. Go ahead, brother.
As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. The strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their closed places. Yahweh lives, and blessed be my rock, and let the Elohim of my salvation be exalted. It is Elohim that avenged me and subdues the people under me.
Right. It is Elohim that avenges me and subdues the people under me. So Yahweh is going to let you see the unforgiving, the unrepentant, all of those things. He going to make you see it for a reason. Now, a lot of times, you know, we get angry that Yahweh don't take those things away from us. But Yahweh lets you see those things, because when it comes time for judgment and then them people start begging you for forgiveness and repentance, Yahweh gonna like, no. See, I needed you to see their unforgiving and their unrepentance, so when it's your turn to rule, you'll understand why I'm telling you to do certain things. Because, see, if you don't understand the nature of something, when Yahweh says something, you then second guessing. Well, Yahweh, why you want to kill all of them? Yahweh, look at that baby. That's a pretty little baby. Coochie coo, look at the baby. That baby gonna grow up to kill all your grandkids. It is an evil spawn. It is Satan's seed. But if you don't understand that, you gonna try to overtalk Yahweh. Yahweh said, when Esau and Yaakov, before they was born, he said, I already hated one of them. It was already evil. Before it got here, it was evil. But if you don't understand that, now you want to second guess Yahweh. Well, that coochie cool, look at that baby. I'm gonna keep this one. It's gonna kill you. It's gonna grow. You gonna feed it. It's gonna get big enough, and you gonna die where you stand. Because you want to second guess Yahweh. So he lets you see the unrepentant. He let you see that there's no forgiveness. There's no nothing. There's no acknowledgement. There's no nothing. He needs you to see it for a reason. So when it's your time, you are unwavering. When he said go kill everything that breathes, that's what he meant. That's what he meant. But if you don't understand the nature of something, you gonna second guess it. And then he gonna have to deal with you. Nah, I'd much rather just deal with them. I don't really want you to deal with me. Go ahead.
You know, even in the situation with Moshe, he was too young to know what happened with him. He grew up in a luxury. But when it was time to do that business, he killed one of them.
Yeah. But you know,
and then turned around and killed more of them.
But and see, that's that thing of what it looked like. To some people, you look at that and you say, man, Yahweh chose a murderer. He just let that brother murder that Egyptian like it wasn't nothing. And Yahweh like, oh no, wait, I'm gonna murder way more than this. No, I'm just getting started. That's just a little warm up. You know what I'm saying? Just kill one of them to warm up for it, Moses. Moses, warm up a little bit. Go ahead and kill one of them.
Stretch.
That's just a stretch. That's all it is. That's just a stretch. And you're gonna kill way more than that. See, but from just looking at it in the flesh, it looked like, why did he let this man kill another man? Man, you know how long they have been mistreating the Hebrews? So it looked like, man, this is not righteous that Yahweh would just let this man, you know, kill somebody. Yahweh was like, just wait. Wait till you see me when I get started. I'm going to kill some of them. It's going to be bodies everywhere. And I'm going to do it through that same man's hand right there. He's going to help bring all that in. But you need to see them enough to know they are unforgiving. They are unrepentant. They ain't never going to acknowledge nothing. You need to see it face to face so that you understand when I tell you to do it, do not second guess me. Go ahead.
Verse 48. He delivers me from mine enemies. Yea, you lifted me up above those that rised up against me. You have delivered me from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto you, O Yahweh, among the heathen, and sing praises unto your name. Great deliverance give he to his king. and shows mercy to his anointed, to Dawid, and to his seed forevermore.
All right, that's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.